the hell? How do you do this? Okay, so yep, we're live.
Cool.
We got 5 people watching.
Nice.
All right. What is up, sportscaster? We got Key in the building joining. We have a special guest here on the MalcGoolie program. As always, Key is in the building. And we have very special guest, very special friend of mine. Known this man since 7th grade and reunited, and it feels so good with fellow fan and also fellow friend of the MalcGoolie channel and original OG. That goes to EJ Goolie. We haven't found a good name for him yet, but we're gonna just go by him as EJ because he, and also here for MalcGoolie, he'll be up here a lot here on Sportscaster, and also a little bit here also on YouTube as well to help me with not only with football team, and his team is the Colts. So that you can tell, I got him with the Colts and with that Andrew Luck, because we will talk about Andrew Luck and the future of the Indianapolis Colts here tonight, and also the Chicago Bears. Is this the year? Bears fans, is this the year? Can we finally get 1985 off our goddamn backs?
Hey, what's up, everyone? Excited to be here, and thanks to Malcolm for having me on the show. So, hey, hope to have a great show today.
And also, Keen Bill said, welcome to the Spotlight family, too. Yeah, EJ is a part of the Spotlight family as our Colts analyst on the Spotlight Sports Talks channel. And we're going to get him set. Trust me. We'll get him his Twitter. We'll get him everything. We're going to give him a name. No, he can be the, how about this? The EJ Colt. He could be. We don't know, but we will. It's a work in progress. And thank you for 17 people who are coming in, watching this. It's the future Indianapolis Colts fans. You know what? This guy right here is a Colts fan. I mean a Colts fan. I remember when I always talk bad about the Colts and something really, really messed up happens, I had to be put in my place. Yeah, I was put in my place talking bad about the Colts. But over the years, since I've been living here in Indianapolis for a while, I've learned to respect the Colts in a way. And I've also learned to respect the Pacers in a way. I'm still a Bull and a Bears fan. And even though when it comes to basketball, we are division rivals, but at the same time, like a friendly division rival. But we can't agree on one thing when it comes to basketball. Fucking hate Cleveland. I can't stand Cleveland.
Cleveland's not a threat anymore.
It's not a threat anymore, but I still hate Cleveland. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Colts. What's the future for the Colts? I'm going to put the floor all on EJ here. What's next for the Colts? The future. And like I said last week, Andrew Luck retired. And I was there at that game when he officially retired, when the news broke out. And I made a video on my YouTube page, which is, on the channel, the MalcGoolie channel on YouTube, that with my father, the news broke out, and it was total dead silence. The whole Lucas Oil Stadium was filled. It was filled with Colts fans, and there was a lot of Bear fans that was out there. But it was so weird just seeing all the Colts fans just leaving. Some were crying, and some were just actually I saw some people get into some fights, and I also seen, people at the end of the game when the Bears won, Andrew Luck getting booed. And just being there, just low-key, it was just weird. It was just so, it was just total silence. And when they booed him, I was getting angry at Colts fans. Granted, I can see your frustrations about Luck leaving. I get that, but it's not all his fault. I'm not even putting the blame on him anyway. It's just that, to me, you had 2 people to blame. Mm-hmm. You had Gripson to blame with his idiotic decision making, and you can probably going to say to media, "Oh, it wasn't his fault," and technically it was your fault, dude. you're the one that ruined his career. And also Jim Irsay, because you hired the idiot in the first place. So, like I said, the floor is on EJ. My experience at the Lucas Oil Stadium, it's beautiful, but then when that news broke out, it was just total dead silence. Even on the Bears side, it felt like total dead silence. Like, we felt bad for the Colts to the point we hugged every Colts fan that we saw. Told them it would be all right. Then there's some Bears fans that were so pissed off because they picked Luck in their fantasy league. It sucks for them, but yeah, EJ, the floor is on you, man.
Yeah, just like the sports world, it shocked me that my favorite player just retired, and it's just like it's sad to see him go because like I root for him every year, and it's just like we should have never went 11-5 those 3 straight years. He was the reason why, because like we had such a bad defense, and it's just like our O-line was terrible, so he had to do extra stuff and had to be asked to do it. And it's just like he had to put his body on the line just to make them plays. And it's just like he took so many hits because like our GM just refused to get him help. It took so many years and so many sacks. Like in his first season, he took 41 sacks. That's a lot of hits. Next season, 32. Now that third year, he took 27. But it's just like it just keeps piling on. Especially getting hit by so many big people. It takes a toll on your body, and just like. That 2015 season, he couldn't make it through, and just his body just took so much damage.
And like, look at all the injuries that man has had, from concussion, a lacerated kidney. What was the recent one? The shoulder,
and then he had the
calf
strain, and then
the hamstring,
ankle.
And the ankle. He was mentally done. He was mentally done with the franchise. Like, he was so over it. I mean, he just basically put in his 2 weeks notice and just left. I mean, we all been there. We all put our 2 weeks notice in at a job we didn't like. And at the same time, it sucks. If you're a Colts fan, it sucks. Yes, it does. But you got 2 people to blame. Like I said, Gripson was terrible. And Chris Ballard did a phenomenal job his first year coming in. For them going 1-5 and then making them they won with like what 9 straight games, or was it 8 straight games or something like that?
1-5. It was 10 straight. It was something like that.
Something like a great winning streak, going to the playoffs, beating the Texans in Houston, and then they lost to the Chiefs, but it was hope. Colts fans were feeling hope. There was hope in there, and then when that news broke out. Like, it just diminished. And now, it's so funny. And like I said, Jim Irsay, I'm not going to scream or yell because Jim Irsay's not worth that. He's not going to learn a damn thing from this. And that's, to me, one of the reasons why Peyton left. People say it was about money. Yeah, it was about him not getting paid. But also, you couldn't protect Peyton. Peyton basically saved his career from leaving Indy and then going to Denver. And we all know how that story went.
I mean, I think that Irsay does deserve some blame. I mean, look back a couple seasons ago. That night we thought that Chuck Pagano and Grigson were gone, but yet they got an extension.
Yes.
It's just like, that draft, they focused on linemen. They got Ryan Kelly, who's a good center and stuff like that. So they were forced to get draft picks. So I think that hiring Ballard was the right move. And then, like, we got lucky into Reich. Like,
Reich is a good coach.
Yeah, into a very good coach. And it's just like Ballard's hit on so many picks, especially
getting Quentin Nelson
and then Braden Smith. And it's just like our O-line is so good. We went 5 straight games without getting a single sack. And Luck had one of his seasons where he barely got sacked, only 18 sacks last season. So I think that things may look bleak losing Luck, and I wish him the best. But I think like we got Jacoby Brissett can like be a good starter in this league. I saw flashes in 2017, even though he was brought in like 8 days after being traded. He had to be thrown into the fire with that, especially against the Rams. But I saw flashes, and I think he has a chance to be a good starter in this league.
He does, and looking at some stats here, Jacoby Brissett, man. I mean, in 2017, his stats like 31,000 passing yards, and with a 58% completion, he had 13 touchdowns, 7 interception. He was, but the biggest problem to me, he did get sacked a lot, 52 times. And like I said, Jacoby Brissett has promise, but like I said, I always felt like, oh my God, if Luck was to leave, I didn't expect him to retire, but leave, like, he has promise. But how long you think until they messed him up as well? But no, that wasn't the. But damn, but now like it's Jacoby's team now, so the future here is that they take on the Chargers, and personally I think that the Chargers will win that game, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk like some people are taking it to be, because the Colts did a good job in the draft. Now free agency they didn't do next to nothing, but at the same time
that's his like strategy. He wants his own,
like, just wants to pay, the upcoming players. And that's actually kind of good move for the Colts. They don't have to have a big, sexy name. I mean, it would have been nice to have some big, sexy names. But, it was just, that's kind of a good move what the Colts did. I mean, personally, I would have gotten some people like Eric Berry or something like that for the defense, something like that. But, you never know. You never know. But what Chris Ballard is doing was a good thing. Just to pay, your players for the oncoming future, and that's what they did. And hopefully this season, I don't have them being in the playoff. I actually had them winning the division, but now what we saw, and with luck, I don't think they'll make the playoffs this season. But you never know what they'll do.
Oh, I still have them making the playoffs.
You still haven't making it?
Yeah, I still haven't making it.
See, a lot of believing. But do you have any big concerns other than now that Luck is gone? But do you have any more what you feel like the O-line and what needs to be done that you saw? You saw some good things last season, and you saw some things that from last season you had to work on. So what do you think, for this upcoming 2019-2020 season? What should the Colts, for this season, what should be their main focus this season? Other than they got to get Luck out their heads. They got to let it go.
Yeah, of course. The biggest thing that's going to haunt them this season is just, it's getting, the Andrew Luck narrative. It's just, can they play through it? And I think they can, because I think they have a good locker room and stuff like that. And I think that they have good chemistry. I think they can build it with Jacoby Brissett, and I think that they can move forward and have a good season still, even though a lot of people may not think they have since we lost Andrew Luck.
I mean, you still got a good running back in Marlon Mack. You still have probably now starting to become one of my favorite targets, one of my favorite wide receivers, not of all time, but one of my favorites from there. And shoot, I can't think of his name right now.
T.Y. Hilton?
T.Y. Hilton. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like his name came up to me, but I do love T.Y. Hilton. You still got that. Marlon Mack is a beast.
And Ebron, he's a great
target
in the red zone.
Ebron is a great tight end in the red
zone. And I know Lions fans have to hate it.
Yes, they really have to hate it.
I saw that game in Cleveland. I was watching that game, and then Jacoby Brissett, had a nice pass to Eric Ebron. I think that this still can continue with Ebron, getting a lot of TDs in this season.
Hopefully, let's for the Colts. Anything like a defensive actually caught you, especially I don't know if you watched the preseason, but when I was in there with the Bears, man, oh my God, what's his name? The running back or whatever, they let one guy beat us in the first half. Then Chicago just basically woke up in the second. But defense. The only thing I had a concern with last season, I thought the Colts were going to give up the same situation, have a fourth quarter lead, and then blow it. But not a lot of that this last season. Not a lot. They finished off their teams, no matter the circumstances were.
It happened in the later parts, but at the start, it was just we would just lose fourth quarter leads on games we should have won.
Should have won.
Those first two games, they were tough against Bengals and Eagles just to lose them.
And the Bengals are terrible. The Bengals, management and player-wise. But that's another video for another day. This here is just talking about the future for the Colts. And with Jacoby Brissett, and if he doesn't pan out, what do you think? And I've thought about this, but I totally doubt it will happen. What about Colin Kaepernick? Picking up Colin Kaepernick in free agency, giving him a chance to work in Indy.
I don't know about that. It's just like, do you want like starter or backup? It's just like
a backup.
I don't think they'll do backup. It's just that they have Chad Kelly, and he's out for
Chad
2
Kelly's
games. He's
really
out for
good.
2 games because of suspension, because of like issues last year. So they'll just probably get some walk on or someone out. And then I don't know, man. It's just like maybe like Frank Reich wants his own quarterback. If like Jacoby Brissett doesn't work out, maybe he just wants to find his own in the draft that he can build up himself.
Yes.
So that might be what happens.
And then you have anybody from college that actually in college football that can actually make a jump up to that NFL level.
It's like people were already joking about us getting Trevor Lawrence since we got Payne and Andrew Luck. So I don't think that'll happen, but
oh God, Trevor Luck. But the Colts though, Colts fans, I understand some of you actually get it and some of you don't get it, and for some that don't get it, like Luck was mentally drained. And I hate the fact when people say, "Oh, Luck is soft." That's not soft. I mean, you know what? He's not soft. I mean, he's not RG3. RG3 would not turn down $51 million like that. No. Luck was drained. He was drained. He was mentally drained. And you know what? For Luck, he has a baby on the way. He just got married. He has enough money to not even play another down again. But you never know. Maybe Luck could need a way to be, you never know. He might pull a Michael Jordan. You never know.
It's possible.
Just look at Mike. When Mike left, and I know comparing baseball and football, but I mean baseball, basketball and football. Sorry, not baseball. Football and basketball. But like Jordan left and he went to baseball, and we all know how that turned out. But he came back a little bit late, even though the Bulls didn't make the playoffs that year. But they got eliminated by the Magic, and then we all know what happened at the last 3 seasons, his last 3 final seasons, and Mike became Mike. He had some help. I mean, he had more help. I mean, he had Dennis Rodman with him. He had Steve Kerr and a whole lot of other crazy cast members to help him out. He still had Scotty. And like Michael will always quote this, and this is one of my favorite Michael Jordan quotes. And it will always be like, when I felt like I retired and, I saw Patrick Ewing and the Knicks, it felt like they were making fun of the kid brother, the little brother, when the big brother's not around. And I'm like, that's how it basically felt. And you never know. Maybe Luck would feel that way. Like if he sees the Patriots, God forbid, the Tennessee Titans, or Jacksonville, or better yet, Houston. Personally, he could come back. You never know. He may not come back. It would be something if he did came back. That would be a good comeback story. And he had a good comeback year. Didn't he win comeback of the year?
Yep.
That was, it was like hope. Big hope for the Colts, and then that happened.
Yeah.
And I really feel bad. I really, really feel bad for Colts fans, and I do feel bad for some of the people who were upset. Like, who were upset, the actual Colts fans, and I don't know about you, but I get so tired when people get mad, so goddamn mad, that you would pay, like $100 for an NFL jersey, and you burn the fucking thing. I don't know
why they do that.
I hate people like that. I hate people like that. It just... Why would you burn the freaking jersey? Just no. Just no. Like on Facebook, this one dude was about to burn Luck, but no, he took the lighter down and put a sticky note in there saying, "Thank you, Luck." That's all you needed. Thank you, Luck. Because that's all you needed was a thank you, Luck. And Luck did what he had to do, and here on in. And then also, you have some other things, like you have, like, what is it? Healthy. Can the O-line stay healthy?
That was
2017.
But our O-line, like they had some missed games by Ryan Kelly, but I feel like they're gonna have they're going to be healthy this year and be a great O-line.
And, Jacoby Brissett, like I said, he has promise. And I believe that he could have an outstanding year. We don't know. And like I said, I still feel that they won't make the playoffs. Not because of that, but that does take a toll on the team. And also, what do you think they need to do in week 1 next week? Which will be streaming that game. Try to stream that game. So, what do you think about that?
I feel like the Chargers, they're just going to challenge him, see if he can actually make them passes. Now, the Colts have weapons. T.Y., Ebron, they brought in Funchess, and Paris Campbell, he had a flash against the Cincinnati Bengals where he just ran around like 5 defenders and got 31 yards. So they have weapons, they have a great run game, but I feel like they're going to try to take away the run game and see if he can throw against them. And I've seen flashes.
And I think, for the defense, it should be a really good field day for the Colts to me because Gordon's not playing. If I'm correct.
Melvin Gordon probably gonna be out unless they do a contract, which that's not likely. And then Derwin James, he's out due to injury. So
it's just so crazy though. But like personally, for the Chargers, what they need to do, obviously the defense is going to say, let's see if Jacoby can make these passes. But but also too, I still say the Chargers are the team that could dethrone the Patriots because they are the underdogs. They're the underdogs in the conference.
After last year, I don't know about that.
Yeah, last year, because, okay, let's just say this. Last year was just bad. I mean, they should have beaten the Ravens. And the Ravens were, I'm not saying that the Ravens were a bad team, but they were probably, their biggest problem, you got Lamar Jackson. Why is Lamar Jackson running for his life? No. Lamar Jackson should not be running for his life. Protect the man. Damn it. Protect him. Protect him. But anyway, for the Colts, I believe you have the Colts winning in an upset in I keep calling them San Diego, but
LA.
The LA Chargers. You got the final score for that? Or you just have how much you think the Colts are going to beat them by?
I think they can beat him by 7 points on there. I feel like, Philip Rivers, of course, could score him. He has great wide receivers there. And plus, Colts are getting younger. They brought in a lot of young cornerbacks and stuff like that. And the team's still young. Darius Leonard's young. Tyquan Lewis and Teray, they're young. So maybe he's going to have a field day on them. We'll see.
Yeah, we will totally see. And, for me, I'm not the biggest Colts fan, but like I said, I respect him in a way. I don't have them beating the Chargers, but I have the Chargers winning at least by maybe 13. 13 at least, because I think Philip Rivers will have himself a game, even though they don't have Gordon with them. But I still feel that, Philip Rivers will still have a game. And that's one of those, I remember back in the day, when Peyton Manning used to be, when Peyton Manning played for the Colts, and the Colts and Chargers games were always something to see. Always something to see. That was I'm kind of mad that never became a rivalry right there. And they would always play each other hard. Real hard. And, but the rivalry was always Manning and Brady. And then, that happened. Peyton leaving. And, but for the Colts. And also, also back to Grimson a little bit. The way how that man still has a job in the NFL I think he works for Cleveland, the Browns.
Maybe he's still there.
I think he's a VP. Anybody in the chat, let us know. Does Gripson still with the Browns? And he's not touching Mo Baker. He's not touching Mo Baker. It's very frightening to see. Very frightening to see. But for Andrew Luck, I wish you nothing but the best in your retirement. Enjoy life to the fullest. You have nothing to prove to anybody. And you know what? You did what you had to do. You did what you had to do for your career, for your health, your well-being, your health. So that is with me with Luck. The future for the Colts, I wouldn't say dark or grim. Is just not even a light. It's just you're at a standstill to me. But I'm no psychic. Maybe the Colts might shock. Maybe Jacoby Brissett might prove doubters wrong. You never know. Welcome to the show. So you just have to do that, and it's one of those situations where you just gotta let the luck injury go, gotta let it go, and you're just gonna have to just move on. It sucks, I know, but just gonna have to move on from it. As far as I'm concerned, that's what gotta move on from it. But for this season, though, for the Colts, you never know. EJ, what you have expecting them to see? You expecting big things here for this Colts team?
I still think they can make playoffs. I mean, especially like the Texans, they're just a wreck. They got robbed by 2 different teams yesterday.
Oh.
They lost Clowney, and they didn't get only a 3rd-round pick and 2 backup linebackers in return. And then they gave up 2 first rounds and like a second for Laramie Tunsil, which helps their O-line. But I feel like this just weakens their defense losing Clowney. So,
oh my God, their QB. I love
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson's a beast.
Yeah, he's good. I like him at Clemson. It's just like he's taking too many sacks, and like this should help their O-line, but I don't know.
God, yeah, the Texans, they lost 2 of their best players in 2 days? That's terrible. That's just that's bad, very bad. What about the Tennessee Titans? This is my opinion. Marcus Mariota, can he stay healthy? That's what I want to know.
Like Tennessee Titans, they have a great defense. I like their defense; it's very good. But of course, their quarterback situation, is it going to be a Tannehill versus Marcus Mariota season? I don't know. 2 subpar quarterbacks.
Here's the thing: Marcus Mariota is actually. I've seen him play. He's actually pretty good. He was really good in college, and it's just that he can never stay healthy. I just don't understand it. And Ryan Tannehill, oh God, oh my God. I'm sorry, Tannehill was bad. I'd rather picked up Blake Bortles, but the Rams saw something in Bortles. So there's that. And in the final, they got Big Dick Nick Foles. Jacksonville, I love what Jacksonville did. They conquered after the Giants' biggest failure. I'm sorry, Daniel Jones could have been drafted in the 17th pick, or hell, their 2nd round pick. But when Josh Allen is right there, it's Josh freaking Allen. But no, I'm happy they picked up Josh Allen to help with that Saxtonville defense. Also, Jalen Ramsey.
Yep. And Gakwe, I think he came back too. So their defense is very strong. I think like they're going to pull together like last year. It's just like, can the offense do their part?
And then also Leonard Fournette as well in the offense. And it's just the thing here that I have an issue with Jacksonville going in for next season. Wide receiving game. I mean, who is Nick Foles going to throw it to? I mean, this is Nick Foles' time to shine. It really is. And I'm still saying, Eagles, you messed up. You should have paid that man. That man gave you that ring. And for the Eagles, Carson Wentz, can he stay healthy? Because if he can go back to that form, the Eagles are back in town. But if not, you're done. Who's your backup? Who's your backup? So overall, Jacksonville to me. So basically, to me, the AFC South can go either way.
It's between Jaguars and Colts.
I might have to put. Yeah, I was gonna say the Texans, but after what I saw the last 2 days, I'm like, y'all are in the. Anybody can win that division. It's gonna be every game is gonna be hard hitting. That's for damn sure. But I still feel that he said the Colts. I'm gonna say Jacksonville. And let's be real, Jacksonville. We thought last year was going to be the team because 2 seasons ago, who expected Jacksonville A to make the playoffs, B to make it to the AFC championship, and almost beat New England until they gave up a 3rd and 8 team. Jesus,
Yeah, it's just like when you lose production from Leonard Fournette, your offense just gets exposed, and Blake Bortles gets exposed. So
and
it's just that's what it fell apart from there.
And Blake Bortles had one good year, and that was the year they made the playoffs. But everything else, it just fell through there. But I'm gonna let EJ take the floor a little bit, talk more about the Colts a little bit, and basically because he knows the AFC South better than anybody, because that's not my division. My division is the NFC North, and yes, we will talk about the Bears later on the show. So EJ, you can take over real quick.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that Chris Ballard's put us in the right direction. I mean, he's had so many good drafts, especially last year with getting Quentin Nelson, Darius Leonard, All-Pro first team, Braden Smith, Turay, and Tyquan Lewis. And I think he did again in this year's draft. So Paris Campbell looked good, and then he got us some secondary help, like he got Marvell, and then Kari Willis, and then
Kari's a beast. I ain't gonna lie, he's gonna be something in this league. I hope, but also I'm still, the Colts, man. I'm not mad we got Roquan Smith. I'm not mad because he's a hell of a linebacker. But when, Trubisky, we needed more of an offensive, line. I mean, we got the line, but, we got a line. Not. But the problem that I had was just, I'm like, okay, if we get Quentin Nelson, can you imagine that Kyle Long, Quentin Nelson?
Just think about the Broncos never got Bradley Chubb.
Oh, God.
That's where we would have went.
Oh, dude.
But we had to rob the Jets of those 3 second-round picks.
And that was a good trade. Like the Jets, that kind of shocked me that the Jets would do it. Like, who else wanted to trade this year's draft? Somebody wanted to trade their first-round pick. I think it was the Jets again. They wanted to trade.
Yeah, because
they had Bell. Obviously, I got Bell, but
But it's just like their D-line was stacked. And getting the best player. It's just like
the problem with the Jets to me is they don't have an offensive line. I think they have probably a weak offensive line in their division. But but back onto the AFC South. I mean, Jalen Ramsey. The problem that I have with Ramsey, he is arrogant. He can be very arrogant.
But he backs it up with his play.
He can back it up with his play. But last year it was totally different. It was just like, really?
I mean, when you look at an offense that doesn't do their part, true. I feel like he's the best corner, and he backs it up with his talk.
The best corner in the league?
I feel like he's probably top 3.
Top 3? Who's the other 2?
I can't think of them right now, but I feel like he's
to me, I would put, this is just a stretch, even though I would put Eddie Jackson on that list, because I love Eddie Jackson. That dude is a freaking beast. And, woo. Yeah, he's a good corner. But, the Colts, it is what it is. We'll see come this season. Yeah. So now, ball's on my court, so to speak. Because 1985, I wasn't born. He wasn't born yet. I wasn't born. We were still swimming in some other surface that we can't say. Because it's, this is a TV 14 type of show. But, 1985, stars were born. We beat the Patriots. We demolished the Patriots. And it took a lot of good defense. I'm talking about the Chicago Bears. And a lot of people say that defense was so overrated. And I disagree. That was one of the most powerful, if not one of the best defenses of all time. One of the best defenses, the 85 Bears. Here is, will this finally be the year that the Chicago Bears get that monkey off their back and finally win a championship? If I can do the math here, if you can do the math here, just 2020 minus 1985. That's a long goddamn time. That's a long time, y'all. And as a Bears fan, man, year after year. And I thought 06 was the year. But let's be real. we started Rex Grossman. That dude could have been handed a golden Scirocco and still come back with a scratch on it. We were nothing but defense. For God's sakes, the Colts could have just blew a straw and that would have been it. And, you know, and 06 is probably still one of my favorite teams. I ain't going to lie. You had Brian Urlacher. You had Devin Hester. You had Cedric Benson. You had Lance Briggs. You had Mike Brown. You had Masheed Muhammad. I mean, that was a good team. Now, look at that now. 2011. Jay Cutler sat down. Oh, God. I can't believe I used to defend that man. Remember in middle... Like, you could tell the story. Every day in class, middle school and high school, I would always defend Jay Cutler.
It's just like, after a while, you just like...
I just gave up. Like, that season when... Who was that head coach? Oh, my God. That head coach that we had when they fired Lovie Smith. That pissed me off. Yeah.
Truman.
Not Truman. Oh, my God. He was terrible.
Mark
Trestman.
Yeah.
Trestman was terrible. I hated Trestman. First off, if you're in Chicago, the one thing Chicagoans hate is soft. That offense was soft, and people say, "Oh, but Malcolm, Jay Cutler's breaking records." Okay, yeah, he's breaking records, but he's not winning his championships. We had a terrible offensive line. The only person that anybody knew was Kendrick Meredith. And nobody knew who he was. And Kendall Wright. And I'm so mad that we got rid of those two. But we had to do what we had to do. You know what? And then it happened. I thought John Fox. I thought, okay, he got experience. He got this. Oh, we drafted Trubisky, which everybody freaked out. I will agree. Us, getting rid of all what we got just to move up. We could have drafted him. Whatever. I think we were, the 7th pick?
You were third pick.
Third pick?
You just moved up one spot.
Yeah, moved up one spot. Yeah, the third pick. Thank you. The third pick. We could have got him. Or better yet, a lot of people wanted Deshaun Watson. I thought it was going to be Trubisky from the get-go. I knew it was going to be Trubisky from the get-go. And everybody would say, "Oh, Trubisky, really? He only had 1 year of production." I'm like this. The Bears are going to draft him, and the kid might be something. You never know. And they drafted him, and every Bear fan was so mad. Josh from the Sports Fury, shout out to you. You were mad. Everybody was mad. And I said this, if he has the right head coach, he could be something in this league. And let's be real. We had Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon is horrible. I hate Mike Glennon. And then when Mike Glennon got benched, and then Trubisky started playing, the first game he played was against Minnesota. And he did a good job with Minnesota. Yeah, we lost that game. He brought us back, and we lost that game. And our defense, too. But we lost that game. But at the same time, you can tell there was something. Trubisky had something. The only problem was John Fox. And they let him go. And here comes Nagy. Coach Nagy. And at first I was a little skeptical because I'm gonna be real Bears fans. I'm gonna be really real with you guys. Andy Reid came into my mind. And now Andy Reid is a good coach, but there has been times where Andy Reid could just go full Reid and not know how to manage the game clock, panic, and under pressure, and that's what I thought of Nagy. And I still do a little bit, but not anymore. I still have that pinch of doubt. But Nagy came in. He came in. The Bears, also their GM. Oh my God, Ryan Pace has been a phenomenal GM since he's been hired. Yep. Ryan Pace made some good moves. We made some good moves in our offseason in the draft. Made a lot. Eddie Jackson, a beast. Freaking Bryce Callahan, a beast. Freaking Eddie Goldman and Akeem Hicks. Monsters. They were monsters. But then last year, to this date, it was this date, guys. And I think the news broke out around like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or what have you. And it was on a Saturday that Khalil Mack joined this team. Now, 2 seasons ago, the Bears were a number top 10 defense. 2 seasons ago. And then when Khalil Mack came, everything changed. The Bears, there was hope. There was hope for Bears fans. There was hope. Nobody expected, even myself. I did not expect Chicago to do what they did. I did not expect Chicago to, A, win the NFC North, and B, I did not expect them to. It's just all it takes is one coach. All it takes, it seems like all it took was just one player to change everything around. And ever since Khalil Mack came, that Bear defense became a top 5 interior defense. Monsters of the Midway. We lost some weapons in that defense. I'm not going to lie. We lost Adrian Amos to Green Bay. I was upset. Bryce Callahan, I was upset. But then when we got Clinton Dix is actually pretty good. He's not a Bryce Callahan, but he's a playmaker. He will make plays. Did anybody not see the preseason with the Giants? That unbelievable interception. That was unbelievable. He just basically flipped. Like, remember like Chris Conte? Oh, God, Bears fans remember Chris Conte. God, he was something else. But, everything was cool. And it was good. And it was great. And I was happy for the Bears. I'm happy for it now. And also what I saw, I don't know if EJ saw the game. I don't know if you saw the game. But when Bush basically snatched that ball, and I don't know what you call that. People say it was a fumble recovery. Ball didn't even hit the ground. Bush just snatched the freaking thing out from under him and then ran. I don't know if you call that a pick six or a fumble recovery touchdown. I call it a snatch. That was a snatch 6. He snatched the ball and ran, and I'm happy I hope they kept him because that dude was a beast. He was a beast. And then, and I know before I get into half stuff, talk about last season, everything when we made the playoffs, we took on the Eagles, and that was a really good game. Came down to the wire. Trubisky had a clutch moment in that game, and like I told EJ, he had a clutch moment when he threw the freaking ball while my phone fell. He threw the ball, and Trubisky has one of those arms where, like, pretend this is the football, and pretend you're like Allen Robinson. You're throwing the ball, and it looks like out of bounds. It's about to go out of bounds. But then the ball somehow curves. Y'all need to watch that replay. It somehow curved out from going out of bounds to curving back in bounds, and then Allen Robinson catches it. Trubisky has an arm, one of those type of arms where if he throws it accurately, he has like a, what's that one villain that can never miss? Bullseye. Deadshot and Bullseye. He has one of those type of accuracies. I'm like, those type of arms. I'm like, it looked like he overthrew it, but he didn't overthrow it, but it was a very rare pass.
Okay, now since we're on that game, I gotta ask you, should Bears fans be worried about your kicking situation since it's been such a big point in the offseason?
It's like we went through so many kickers because Cody Parkey, oh my God, double doinked it. Oh my God, the first time did he make it the first time? Like when they timed it out, I was like, oh yes, and then he double doinked it. And Cody Parkey, and he's never gonna watch this, but you didn't have to open your mouth. When you went to that morning show, that's when I knew your job was done. And your teammates felt type of way about it, and they should have, because the thing about Coach Nagy is like more of a, he didn't point the finger at Cody. He didn't. He basically said it was a we thing. He got on Trubisky for overthrowing his target. And yeah, Coach Nagy had some bad plays too in that game, because Tariq Cohen was having a game. That dude was having a game. I don't know why we didn't run the ball. And the Eagles were trash at the run in that game. But Also, Trubisky was overthrowing his target. The defense decision making that got them, flags and whatnot. He got on everybody. But Cody, being the one that could have saved the day, he put it on himself. And that's why Nagy said that Kobe won't know how it's like being that guy. It's not about you. It's about the team. And I agree with Coach Nagy. We all failed. We all failed. It's not just Cody, Trubisky, the defense. We all had a bad game that day. And you know what? Then when they had, oh my God, remember they had that contest with the fans to see if they could get, we were having fans, no one could. And then they made, they had like 12 different, then they gave the pit player, Chris Blewett, the job. But Chris Blewett, he, in the words of Adam Sandler, you blew it! And it was between two people. It was between Eddie and somebody else. And they both could kick 60 yards. They both can kick 60 yards. I think one kicked 60. The other one kicked, I think it was Eddie. Eddie kicked 65, I think. I think it was Eddie. He kicked 65. And then when I watched the Bear game, when Eddie kicked a freaking 55-yarder, I was like, yes! The Bears won the Super Bowl! And that's what I said. They won the Super Bowl! And now Eddie, just now, if I look at my phone, because I do not delete stuff when it comes to the Bears on my phone, Eddie Pinheiro has earned the spot. He is now the Bears kicker. And he's the Bears kicker. And also, the Bears also re-signed Witten as well to a 5-year deal, $32 million. But, now the ball's on your court now. I mean, for the Bears. What do I expect from this Bears? First off, that defense. It's going to be weird not seeing Bryce and Adrian Amos because we play the Packers this Thursday. And I will damn sure stream that game. Trust me on that. Trust and best to believe. By hook or by crook, I'm streaming that game. And it's defense. Can the defense... And every time when the Bears do back-to-back, it's really hard for them to do back-to-back. I just realized that too. But can the defense, and plus, healthy. Can they all stay healthy? Eddie Jackson, all last season, played with a messed up ankle, and he still kept on fighting. That's a warrior. Also, let's be real, I was upset that Jordan Howard left. I was upset, but I'm sorry, the Bears drafted David Montgomery, and that dude is a beast. Here's the thing. The thing I love about Montgomery, the differences between Montgomery and Howard. With Howard, the problem that I had with Howard, he had the speed. He didn't have this, not speed. He had the power. He would truck somebody, especially when you're coming out of Indiana State University, the Hoosier. I mean, they will truck you. I've seen some huge Hoosier games. And they will truck you. Their running backs can truck you. But he didn't have the proper speed. And also, Coach Nagy kept telling Howard, I'm going to get you going. I'm going to get you going. He's a player's coach. And I love that about Nagy. He's a player's coach. And he's also a no-nonsense. So, but he couldn't get Howard going. And that's why we had to trade Howard. It sucked. I will agree. Trading Howard sucked. At least we didn't trade him to Green Bay. Oh, God, if he went to Green Bay. Jesus, no. Every NFL owner, actually GM needs to realize there's only one man who did this. Why trade him to the West and we can trade him to the East? That was, what's his name? Really good coach, too, for the Spurs. Pop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Pop said it best. Why do you think he traded Kawhi to the Raptors? Why trade him to somewhere where we're competing? Why trade him to a conference we are competing in? Trade him to the East. And you saw what happened with Kawhi. But here with the Bears, what was I saying? The defense and all that. Jordan Howard, yeah. Jordan Howard. You couldn't get Jordan Howard going and we had to let him go. And then the first things first, we didn't have a first or a second draft first round or a second round pick because we traded that for getting Khalil Mack. And we got David Montgomery. And what I saw Montgomery in some of these preseason games, he had not only the trucking ability, but he also had the speed. He was running over defenders. And he is that guy for us, for the Bears. He is the guy for the Chicago Bears. And I'm happy that the fact that the Bears picked him up. I was very happy with that. And they also picked up some more key defenses on defense. I hope they kept Bush, because Bush was a freaking beast. And like, it was one of those situations. The Cubs did what they had to do, and I was happy that they did what they did. And the Bears. Sorry, I'm sorry when I'm over it, but the Bears are. That's my biggest thing right there. Is that offensive line.
Now, do you believe that Mitchell Trubisky can make the next step this
I
year?
believe he can.
Does he have the weapons to do it? Can he do it?
They gave him hella weapons. Thank you, EJ. They gave that man hell of weapons. Need I remind you, Allen Robinson, good weapon. Freaking Gabriel, good weapon. Even Tariq Cohen can catch the ball. Great weapon. Montgomery, great weapon. Also, they got Davis, too. Mike Davis from Seahawks. Good weapon. You got Marvin Hall. Good weapon. You have... also, they drafted... oh, my God. Ridley's brother. Yeah, I think... Ridley's brother. Calvin Ridley's brother. They drafted him. They drafted... They gave that man so many more offensive weapons to throw it to, and I'm happy that they did. Because Trubisky can make that other step. The only thing I'm worried is I don't want Trubisky to overthrow his target. But the one thing I will say this too, because we take on Green Bay, you realize when he doesn't have nobody to throw it to, he doesn't throw it away. He actually runs it. He pulls an Aaron Rodgers out. And I do see a little bit, not a lot, but I see a little bit of Aaron Rodgers in Trubisky. He's a mobile QB, but he's not a pot. But if you give him time in the pocket, he will make you pay. But at the same time, if he doesn't see it, he runs, and he did a lot of running. He didn't get sacked that much, but I think his biggest outbreak last year, other than that game with the Eagles, was with Tampa Bay when he threw 6 touchdown passes. That let me know this is the guy. When you have a coach that will actually help you work through that, you got it. And Coach Nagy sees it in Trubisky. And like I said last week when I did my predictions, I had them 13-3. The only team that I have a feeling that I'm afraid of, and I, as a Bear fan, I am serious. And I mean this. The team that I am scared of is the Saints. The Saints are coming for blood, y'all. Yep. They're angry. They're mad. You would be pissed off too if you got screwed out of the Super Bowl because of bad officiating. And I'm sorry, that NFL, shame on you, NFL. You guys should have did this a long time ago. You should have did this 4 seasons ago. You can challenge a pass interference. And also, that Des Bryant catch was a catch. And then that Jesse James catch was a catch. Yep. I'm like, they don't know what a catch is anymore. Like, the league doesn't know what a catch is anymore. Also, I'm sorry, Clay Matthews also. I'm not the biggest Clay Matthews fan, but my God, the dude's a beast. But my God, that man kept on getting hit with so many roughing the passer calls, and they weren't even really roughing the passer. He just tackled him.
Yeah, it's just like, it was so experimental last year. It's just like, one play, I think he tackled Alex Smith.
Alex Smith, and they called it.
And then, they called it that, so. And
what was the other game? When they took on Minnesota, and that became a draw. And I was like, both teams' kickers were trash. Yeah. They both were bad. Not as Cody Parkey bad, but they were just bad. But here I'm like, really? That's roughing the passer? And also, grabbing. Yeah, well, what was it? The one with Tom Brady with the Chiefs, where he grabbed his shoulder.
Swiped at him. I think he swiped at him or something like that, and he got called for
roughing the passer, and also grabbing the shoulder is roughing the passer. A high standard for protecting the quarterback. I'll give you another example. The Detroit Lions. I hate Matthew Stafford. I'm sorry, Lions fans. I hate Matthew Stafford, but he is the best QB you guys have ever had. To some fans, not to me, but at the same time, let me say this: what's the one when they took on? Was it the Texans or it was a couple of seasons ago when they had Megatron. Remember that game? I just Megatron's process catch.
Was against the
Texans?
Or are you talking about the playoffs against the Cowboys?
I think it was the Cowboys or one of that. That was a horrible. That was pass interference all day. But at the same time, they called it offensive pass interference. How? How? It was just bad. It was just bad, freaking officiating, and it still goes on. And it was just bad. Real bad. But back to that Detroit line. It was the one when I think when they took on the Texans, the play was already over, and they already attacked Stafford, and no flag was called. No flag was called. That's roughing the passer all day, like real all day, and it just made me mad as a fan watching. And I'm sorry, guys. I can see you guys here in the chat. A6 Dot say, "What's up, Malcolm? How you doing? I'm doing well. How about yourself?" And I see a lot of people joining, like Loomis and New England Superfan and Key in the building, and also the QC Collection USN. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm sorry, I'm here with my friend EJ here. We're talking about Andrew Luck, and we're talking about the Bears. We're on the Bears segment now. But yeah, it was just so roughing the passer was just so ridiculous. It was NFL officiating was just bad. It was terrible. I thought the replacement ref issue was bad. Remember that?
Yeah, that was just backup refs. That was just terrible.
Backup refs was terrible, and last year it cost the team going to the Super Bowl. You mean to tell me that was not rough? That pass interference?
There was like a ref right in front of the play, but.
Right in front of the play, and it just made me so mad. And
I wonder if that lawsuit's still going on there in New Orleans.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. I hope. I don't know if it is, but it needs to be a thing. It cost the team a chance to win the title, to be in the Super Bowl. And I'm sorry, if the Saints would have beat the Rams, I'm gonna say this: if we had a time machine, and if they actually called that play. And if the Saints would have won that, to me, people can talk about, who is the greatest quarterback of all time. A lot of people would say Brady, all Joe Maymon, all those. But to me, in this modern era, Drew Brees and also what's his name for the Seahawks,
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. They can say two things. Russell could have, but they had to pass it on the 1 yard line. Can you imagine if they would have ran it and the Seahawks would have won? Russell Wilson could have been the QB, the only QB to say, "Hey, I beaten Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. I beat the two NFL's golden boys, and I beat them." Drew Brees is the only player now who can say it, who is the only now. Well, him and Russell still, if Brady chooses to retire. They still can do it, but the Seahawks are far. I mean, Seahawks got an upgrade. They've gotten an upgrade, but the Saints, to me, if the Saints do play the Patriots in this, and if that is the Super Bowl, and if Breeze wins, that would be a hell of a send off. What more do you have to prove? Breeze is the one that's breaking records. Breeze is the one that's surpassing everybody in the passing. Drew Brees is up there. He's one of the greatest QBs of all time to me. He's up there. Like, next time when you say Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, I mean, you gotta put Drew Brees up there. Because, like, literally, one of those segments. So yeah, I'm doing fine. A6DA. I'm doing fine. I'm just trying to get there. And EJ asked me a question and I answered it and I just went on.
Should we go to week 1 matchups?
Week 1 matchups, yes. For the whole week 1, or just for my Bears.
Just for our teams.
For our teams. Week 1 matchups. We'll start with you, EJ, because you take on the Chargers.
Now, I think that the Colts, they do have a chance. Even though Jacoby Brissett's coming in, he's been with the team and he knows the system, unlike 2017 where he was just brought in 8 days and thrown into the fire. So I think he has the weapons to do it. And plus, like, the Chargers, they're missing key people. Melvin Gordon's holding out. And plus, like, Derwin James, unfortunately, has, like, had a injury, so he's out. So the question is, can the O-line, can they hold Bosa and Ingram? And can Brissett make them throws? Because he's going to be challenged this whole game. He has the weapons to make for them to make touchdowns and stuff like that, especially Ebron, Hilton, and plus, like, they brought in Funchess, and I like Campbell. And plus, they have a run game now, so I think that the Colts can win this. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Colts win by 7.
Colts win by 7. All right, now for the Bears. Let's be real. Last season, Sunday Night Football, Khalil Mack, everybody was hyped. The Packers weren't ready for Mack. Now, Mack is still a hell of a talent. Now, let's be real. Bears fans, I'm mad I didn't make that video. We fell asleep. And Aaron Rodgers basically took you know, what they took, and, you know, it happened. But we got one up on the Packers because in Soldier Field, we eliminated the Packers from playoff contention and won the NFC North. But it's a new year now. For the Packers, they got a new head coach now. That should have happened 2-3 years ago. They got a revamped defense, which should have happened 5 years ago.
For sure.
And, you know, I still feel that Aaron Rodgers is still going to run for his life. I still feel it. I mean, who the coach did they get? They got Mike. Not Mike. They got LaFleur.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur, and Matt LaFleur is okay, but here's the thing too. And they told us they're going to let Aaron Rodgers make the plays. And obviously, you know, do what you got to do. So basically, and you know, I can see people's argument here. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think Aaron Rodgers is the LeBron James of the NFL.
It's just like so many news came out that they didn't have the greatest relationships between Aaron Rodgers and his previous coach.
Yeah, man, Mike McCarthy. So like, it's like a who's who. Like, who do you believe? Do you believe the quarterback or do you believe the former head coach that got fired?
Yeah, and this year, like, Aaron Rodgers is older than his new head coach. Like, is he going to listen to him? That's the question.
That's the question. And for the Packers, the biggest question for the Packers is, can they go back to form?
Yep.
They haven't won a championship since 2011. And, you know, are they going to, you know, go back to that Green Bay particular? To me, they lost pieces. They lost some pieces. Yeah. Mike is can't think of his name. Clay Matthews is gone. Who else? Didn't they lost Whitaker as well? Wilkerson? Wilkerson? Didn't they lose him? Didn't he leave? Okay.
Maybe. I'm not sure, but I think their new
Mike Davis, I think he left. Yep. Mike Davis is gone.
Yeah, and their first round pick, I think Rashawn Gary's injured, so I haven't seen what the injury is or how long he's going to be out.
Yeah, but sure, and for the Bears, I mean that's the question for Green Bay. You got the new head coach. Can he adapt to Aaron Rodgers? You got Aaron Rodgers. He's getting old, guys. He's getting old. And, you know, and plus, can Aaron Rodgers not run like a madman in the pocket? That's another thing, too. I mean, if Aaron's protected, he's a gunslinger. He will, God, those some fast passes. But at the same time, you know, it's the thing. I know it's in Chicago. I have Chicago winning this by at least 7 or 10, but the key for Chicago here is defense. If the best front seven in all of football, need I remind you, Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman, Aaron Lynch, and I'm actually shocked that Lynch was this close. He was this close to getting to the Colts, and I was like, nope, you better get Lynch. I do not want Lynch being an Indy. Sorry. You got Hacklin Dix, Prince Anukamara, Kyle Fuller, Eddie Jackson. Bears do got a really good defense, and also Roquan Smith,
Yep.
and also Nick Gładkowski as well. You got to put him on there, on that swan song, and then also Bush. If they kept Bush, Bush is another no nonsense defender, since he can snatch a ball with all that strength and then go back to it. There's a lot, and then in the offense. Let's be real here too. A good offensive line for Chicago, but once they bend, Trubisky does run, but you still have Gabriel, you still have Trey Burton, you still have Robinson. If all those guys can stay healthy, and then also you got Mr. Calvin Ridley's brother, and you got that they drafted, and then they also drafted, and they also got picked up Marvin Hall. You know, it's one of those things. But I have the Bears winning by at least by 7 or 10. The only way for the Bears to win, that front seven, that defense. I think the Bears got a better defense than Green Bay because this is the first year for Green Bay. They don't know what they're going to do with that offense, that defense. Sorry, and for the offense, I mean, Aaron Rodgers can take a no name, and make him into a star. Yep. But here's the problem with that: it's just the fact that it's not the same. I mean, when he lost, you can tell. Aaron Rodgers lost a lot when Jordy Nelson left, and yeah, they still have. You know who else needs to come on for that Green Bay offense? Can't think of his name. They're tight end. You know they got
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham needs to come on with it, but Jimmy Graham has not been the same as well. He's getting old. So at the same time, man, I still got the Bears winning here. There's no defense. But Dakota, thank you for the 20 tickets. We got 20 golden tickets. That's cool. Thank you for that, Dakota. But yeah, you know, Bears. That's what the Bears need to do. Now, we talked about our teams. Now we're gonna do something a little bit here the opposite. EJ, you want to talk about what does my Bears need to do? Well, I talk about what your Colts need to do. So for the Colts, this is for me. He says Jacoby Brissett, you know, that's true. They gave him weapons. Hopefully they can do that. Hopefully Jacoby can work for what he has. If he does, cool. If he doesn't, But to me, the biggest thing is the defense. The defense is where I'm more concerned with the Colts. They got some weapons on defense, but the thing is Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is gonna have that type of day. He's going to literally test that secondary. And if the secondary slips up for just a minute, it might be trouble for the Colts. I think Colts just need to work on that as the secondary. Because you know Phillip Rivers is going to be throwing it. He's going to sling that damn ball. Yep. That's what I got for the Colts. It's just defense.
Yep, and I got two things for the Bears. It's just like, how's this kicking situation going to go? Are they going to give him a fair chance? Or if things go wrong, or are they going to bring someone in new?
Yeah.
Can the Bears handle like mistakes from their kicker? Because like he's going to be pressured, especially like in camp with their methods.
Yep. And what's the second thing?
So Mitchell Trubisky, can he make that next step? Now he had 24 touchdowns to.
I think he can.
Because like there's like look at your division, like.
Yep, it's not hard. It's not an easy division.
So many good quarterbacks and stuff like that, and they have good defenses to back it up. So can he go against some defenses, and can he like thrive against it? So
yeah, we will see Thursday. We will definitely see come Thursday, and and like the NFC North, because he talked about his division a little bit. We'll talk about my division a little bit here. I still have the Bears winning this division. No ifs, ands, or buts. Mm-hmm. And I have Green Bay being second. Minnesota, the problem that I have with Minnesota is one thing. Is a couple of things. It's not the same. It's not the same Minnesota team. I think Minnesota lost their composure. When you get blown out by Buffalo, there is a huge problem. And another problem, too, is Kirk Cousins. Is he really worth it?
Yeah, they seriously overpaid, I feel like.
And the problem with Kirk Cousins is he can never beat a team that's over 500. It really showed. They got exposed when they took on Chicago. They got exposed when they took on the Rams. They got exposed when they took on, even with Green Bay. They got exposed to teams that, some Vikings fans believe that they could beat, that they can actually beat. And as for Detroit, let me say, Detroit has only one problem. They don't have an identity to me. And the sad thing about the Lions is they're the only team in Detroit to watch right now. The Tigers are terrible. The Red Wings are and the Pistons, less said about the better. Yeah, you signed D Rose, and I'm happy for Derrick Rose, but at the same time, let me say this: if Derrick Rose didn't get hurt, if this was back in like 2011 or 12, that would have been a duo to fear. Can you imagine a healthy Derrick Rose and a healthy Blake Griffin on the same team? Oh my God, I thought they were going to do that. I thought they were going to have that team. Because remember, like 2K kept on hyping it up. Oh, what if we put KD? I don't know what year it was. They had KD. There was 3 versions. You had a KD.
2013.
Yeah, 2013. I thought that was going to be a team. I'm like, can you imagine KD, Rose, and Griffin? That would have been a duo to fear. But it's too late now. Rose is at to the point where, that's a different thing, Can he stay healthy? Blake Griffin is actually, which is a real shocker, their best scorer in the Pistons. Yeah, they made the playoffs, but still, an 8-year playoff, straight 8 playoff losses in 8 years, that's brutal for a team. That's brutal. And like I said, the Lions are the only team in the division right now. This is the only team, not in the division, but the only team to watch in Detroit. And they're not that good because they don't have an identity. And and people say, oh, they have an identity. What identity? Beating the Patriots? You get the Patriots defensive coordinator who Patriots fans wanted to get fired, and they did what they did. He didn't get fired. He just got the coaching job. Also, Matthew Stafford is not really that good of a QB to me. He's not. Reminds me of Jay Cutler a little bit. And another thing, too, is I never heard of an NFL team that has trouble getting a running back. That's the Lions' biggest problem. And also, you had 2 of your best players retire in their prime. Megatron, and was it Sanders?
Yeah,
Barry Sanders? That's terrible. The Ford family do not know. They should be worried about more making cars than running a football team. Because the Lions, they have no identity. And then also getting rid of Ebron.
Hey.
Getting rid of Ebron. That was so stupid. And then who else did they get? Trey Flowers? Didn't Trey Flowers to be? Yeah, look at Trey Flowers. He's a Pro Bowler. What are you doing, Lions? And then like this, and then also you can knock on Cleveland for being the worst team, 0-16. No, I still say that the Lions are the worst team when it came to 0-16. The problem with the Browns, when they were 0-16, they had horrible management. And they didn't have players that didn't give a damn. They had players that, didn't give a really crap about the game of football. And then they had a horrible coach in Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson was terrible. Here's the Lions. Here was their biggest problem. The Lions. Okay, you had Matthew Stafford, but you also had Megatron. That's no excuse. There is no excuse. And that's just me. I mean, the Lions are just the Lions. And that's why I got the Lions ranked low this season again. And this is the year for Matthew Stafford. To me, Stafford's job should be on the line.
Yeah, he's making a lot of money.
Making a lot of money.
Being in last place in the division.
Making a lot of money. His job should be on the line. Is it Patricia? Patricia's job should be on the line. And I'm not gonna lie, Jim Caldwell, he did an okay job with the Lions. But then they got rid of him because they wanted to be the Patriots, just like Tennessee. Tennessee's the same issue. They want to be the Malcolm Butler. You're trying to skin the Patriots alive, but you can't be the Patriots. You can't be Brady and Belichick. And that's what's wrong with both those teams, in my opinion. The Titans, that's their biggest problem. You have to have your own identity, not copy someone's. You just can't, and that's why the Lions are in that. It's bad. It's just bad, and the Ford family are ruining that team, whether they know it or not. They need to go, but they're not going to sell that team. Well, obviously, when they got a stadium that literally says Ford Field, yeah, they're not going to get rid of that team, and that's the problem. And that's the problem. And Lions fans, you're probably going to disagree and get mad, but at the same time, it's the honest to God truth. It's the honest to God truth. You don't have a running game. Your head coach, I mean, Patricia's. You did beat the Patriots, which shocked the hell out of everybody, but that you don't have an identity. You don't. Minnesota, your biggest problem is Kirk Cousins, and also the defense is not the same. And that offense, yeah, people are coming back from injury, but it's not the same. It's not the same for a player that gets hurt and injured. It's not. You played football before, and when you get hurt, I don't know, like I told you that story in that game when we played. Who did we play against? I can't remember the freaking team. Was it the freaking Because you're in Indiana. If you live in Indiana, you should. Was it Southport? When we took on it was 7th grade Southport. I don't remember the team it was, but I was about to go back to playing football, but and I got the physical and everything, and then when I went out there, when I was in the game, I messed up my ankle, and I didn't tell the coaches because it wasn't broken or anything. It just like it felt odd walking on it. He knew something was wrong. I think he knew something was wrong. Every time when I came out of class and I was walking weird, and then I said I was done. I was done. I didn't quit the team. It was football tryouts, and I couldn't do it. My ankle wouldn't let me, and because he played, and he knew I was probably going to be a defensive end again, like I was the following year. He was probably going to be safety, and bench warming safety. But at the same time, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. It's hard for a player to come back from an injury, and it's really hard. It's hard, and that's the problem with Minnesota. And plus, also, another thing of management. Snake-bitten franchise lost 4 straight Super Bowls in 10 years. That's not 4 straight, but just 4 Super Bowls in 10 years. And your 10-year tender. That's brutal. And then plus also, the new stadium that they have, they're going to have to remake that stadium. You heard? Because birds fly into the glass too much.
I didn't hear about that.
I'm like, that's terrible. That birds fly into the glass, and you might have to rebuild your own stadium. That's terrible. And that's for Green Bay, a historic franchise. You can't take away from it. The Green Bay Packers, Lambeau Field. But the problem is this. Aaron Rodgers is your cash cow. And if he gets hurt, then what? It was a Kaiser that's your backup?
They cut him.
They cut him?
I think he got cut, yeah.
Oh, shoot. Then I don't know. That's just like the same one for us. If Trubisky's hurt, Chase Daniels, I think he's 3rd string. And it just have to be that gunslinger that I saw when we took on the Colts. Quarterback is the most valued thing for any team. For every team, actually. When you look about the Bears, everybody has to stay healthy. From Khalil Mack to Eddie Jackson to Tariq Cohen to everybody got to stay healthy. You stay healthy, good things happen. You don't, bad things are going to happen. That's all I got to say about my division. I mean, it's a hard, no-nonsense division. Straight up hard nose. Straight up. But it's one of those things where you just don't know what to do. When you're screwed, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do. You're screwed. EJ, you got anything to add before we call it a show? All right, guys. There you have it. I want to thank everybody from Dakota A6 DA, New England superfan who joined in. Spotlight Sports Doc, Key in the building, and I want to thank Sportscaster for sponsoring this video, and also you, the viewer. here on YouTube or wherever you watch us here on these syndicated networks. Still follow me on Twitter at MalcGoolie, Instagram at MalcGoolie. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel at MalcGoolie again. And as always, thank you all so much for joining us. This is MalcGoolie, as always, with special guest EJ, which we will try to get him set in stone. We're probably going to do this